So yeah, welcome guys to my tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you guys probably the best method for farming zealots in the end. And there are going to be a couple requirements. The first of which being an end sword. You don't need these enchantments depending on how much damage you do normally, but in order to deal the required amount of damage, I had to reforge it with Spicy and put Ender Slayer, First Strike, and Sharpness. But the end sword itself is very cheap. If you go to the weaponsmith NPC in the hub, I think it's only like 100 coins, so very cheap. The next thing you're going to need is an explosive bow. You're going to want as many enchantments and stuff on this as you can. I have the enchantments that you can see there. I don't have Dragon Hunter. I wouldn't recommend putting Dragon Hunter on this bow unless you're just a really rich dude with a lot of money. But as you can see, I reforged it. I added hot potato books, and I added most of the main enchantments, and that works for me. But if you need more enchantments, then you can always buy those. And the final thing you will need is just anything that will allow you to one-hit zealots with the bow. For me, what works is obviously sword swapping with the end sword, and I have a full set of godly strong armor along with all of these talismans in my talisman bag, and this allows me to do a bit over 14,000 damage with the bow. But if you need more or less than that, of course, getting better armor, getting more talismans, and also crit and strength potions are all great ways to increase damage. And if you're still having trouble with damage, then I'm honestly not sure why. If you have strong armor, this amount of talismans, and like crit 3 and strength 7, then you should be able to one-hit them very easily, but this would all be very overkill. As long as you have a good bow, of course. So, you will need that. Alright, so here we are in the Dragon's Nest, and I'm actually going to show you this strategy now. So here we go. So there are multiple places to do it on the map, but my favorite is this thing right here. So if I can just get up here. So yeah, going all the way on the top, this is my favorite. The primary advantage of this strategy is that you have a lot of places open, and this is overall the best. If I render distance up, you can see there, all down here, and there's one that spawns right there, one there, the ones over there, the main ones here. There's very few that you can't see. So I think this is a pretty good spot to do it. So this is where I usually go. So next I need to actually show you the strategy. So the bow itself does not one-hit the Zealot. As you can see, it only does about 4,000 damage, the bow by itself. So of course we're going to be using the end sword to do that with a method called sword swapping, which some of you may or may not have heard of. But basically, once you shoot the bow, you have from the time the arrow goes to the time it hits the ground to switch to your end sword, and then it will deal the damage of the end sword plus the bow. And because of its item ability, which it deals plus 100% to, well, all those mobs, but also zealots, because of that item ability, it will allow you to one-hit them if you do this. So the primary thing is that you have to switch to the sword before the arrow hits the ground, which is why it's easier to do it at long range. So I'll show you right now. So if I switch to the sword, then it will one-hit the Zealot. If I switch to that sword, that's an Endermite. That's not a Zealot. But there should be a Zealot right here. As you can see, it will one-hit it. Now, a couple problems that I've ran into, and all it takes is a conscious effort to not do them, is one, if you try to switch to your sword too quick, because there's a lot of Zealots and you want to get all of them, then the arrow won't just won't fire. So if you go like this, and then you switch to the sword before actually doing it very quickly, then the arrow won't go. So you have to really just like that. And the other thing, basically the opposite, is that if I'm trying to get some very quickly, and so I switch to the sword, let's say it's a really long one, way over there, and so I switch to the sword, and then I switch back to the bow before the arrow hits. That was probably a very extreme example, but if you switch away from the sword to the bow again to get the next Zealot, right before the arrow hits the ground, it won't work. So you have to make sure that the sword stays in your hand for the full duration of the arrow. So like, okay, well that guy took it, but if I go like that, but I'll demonstrate on the next spawn here. If I go like that and then I switch back, it won't do it. But then if I do this, then it will. So you see you have to have it out. That was another problem that I ran into. And the other advantage of this strategy is that it's very difficult for someone to take your eye. Because, well, first of all, this is kind of just a convenience, but the telekinesis, as you can see, this has telekinesis, but if I kill a Zealot with it, I source swapped my Aspect of the Dragons. Because I got both of those, well, I had Ender Pearls in my inventory. But if I kill that okay, thank you for ruining my video. So if I kill that Zealot, as you can see, I didn't get any Ender Pearls. So the telekinesis enchant doesn't work, which means that your inventory can't fill up with Ender Pearls. Now that also means that you can't get drops from Ender Chest Zealots, but I don't really care about that. But a special Zealot, if it spawns, it won't spawn near the Zealot that you killed to spawn it. It will spawn near you, which means it'll probably spawn somewhere here. So you can just hit it, and since this has telekinesis, I think, yeah, since this has telekinesis, it will just go right into my inventory, and the only problem is, if your inventory was full, or you didn't have telekinesis, it might fall, and it might be difficult to get the eye, because you wouldn't be able to, if you didn't see it drop, basically, you might not know what side it went on, and that would give someone time to pick it up. But one problem that I found with this is that sometimes it spawns there, and to do this, usually I just jump, aspect to the end, and then crouch as soon as I right-click, and usually that works. So I'll grappling hook back over here, and I'll try to do it again. It just takes a little bit of practice. I've fallen multiple times, but I guess the main thing is just as soon as you right-click, hit the crouch button. So jump, AOTE, and then crouch. And then, because you can fall through these holes. That's the bad part. Like, you can fall through here, I think. Yeah. And I've done that many times, trying to get the eye. And that's just up there for someone to take. And obviously it's difficult for someone to take, but if they have, like, a lot of mana, then they can just kind of AOTE up and take your eye. And while that's not going to happen very often, it could happen plenty of times, and that would just suck. And there's another person here. That's another disadvantage of the strategy. If someone... I'll move for him, I don't really care, I'm sorry. But yeah, if someone else comes up here, then... Oh, he's just trying to... Okay, well, first of all, there's these people that are just trying to block you and not actually trying to... But if there's... I'm bad. But if there's other e-bowers up here, then there's not really much you can do about it besides just switch lobbies or go to a different location. But either of those two things will work. But then there's just these people sometimes that adamantly hate e-bowers, and so if they... Do you mind? So they'll, like, try to go up there and block you, in which case you just switch lobbies again. And this can get annoying, but I guess it's just something that we have to deal with until it becomes... Okay, he is e-bowing, I think. I'm not going to... Oh, my... I'm bad. Alright, anyway. But yeah, so if someone else goes up to the e-bow, I would also just recommend switching lobbies, because you'll just end up fighting for the good spot, and someone's pearl spamming. This is great for e-bowers as well, because you can just shoot it into the group of zealots, and you'll get all of them. Like so. Okay, well I missed. Please give me some of these. Okay, well I didn't get a single one. Never mind. I got it. I got like half of them in that group. That was great. But yeah, so that's pretty OP. But anyway, if someone else goes up here, I would just recommend switching lobbies, because you'll just end up going back and forth between like this slightly less spot here and this spot up here where he is. And you'll just keep doing that forever. Yeah, he's using an explosive bow, and he has full superior armor. Of course he does. But yeah, so those are the only disadvantages, but overall I think it's a very good strategy, because the disadvantages are very counterable, and obviously the other obvious disadvantage is that you typically do less damage with this bow sword swapping than you will with this sword, which is true for me as well. As you can see, if I do this, then I do... Okay, I didn't actually hit it somehow. But yeah, if I... As you can see, I did 13.5k there, and if I go and hit it with my Aspect of the Dragons, then I should do a bit more than that. I should do around 18k. Okay. Then I should do... keeps hitting me, which the damage won't work if you do that. But like, if I wait for the spawn here and I hit it with my Aspect of the Dragons, as you can see, I do like 21,000 damage. So it does plenty more, is what I'm trying to say. And I don't even have my Enderman pet out, which would increase by a lot. I get a decent amount of crit damage, I believe. Yeah, 44. So yeah, it's it can be a struggle with damage sometimes, but that's kind of a struggle all around. So obviously, my tips for that are just talismans, better armor, and more enchants on the bow and the end sword. And as long as you do that, you should be fine. And also potions are viable as well, but I'm a fan of more consistent strategies, so I would recommend that. But yeah, that's basically the strategy. I don't think I need to go into too much more, but if you have any questions in the comment section about it, do leave that comment, and I'll be sure to make a part 2. Also, I'm guessing a lot of you are wanting me to do a comparison between typical Zealot farming and farming with the explosive bow, which I will do, but only if we hit 30 likes on this video. And that's quite a bit for me, but I'm hoping for this video to do pretty well, and so we'll see. But yeah, if we hit 30 likes on this video, I will do a comparison video between the two. I've already recorded the clips for them because I was just farming eyes normally. And by the way, the regular Zealot farming will be done with God Pots on, so just be aware of that. And I'll be comparing the amount of eyes I get, the amount of money I get, which is basically the same thing, and most importantly, the number of Zealots I get. Because while the amount of eyes you get is based on luck a lot of the time, the number of Zealots is mostly based on the strategy. It can be a little luck-based just because you could have someone pearl spamming, or you could just have a really good lobby, but it should be pretty consistent, so I will do that if we get 30 likes on this video. So if you want to see that, be sure to leave a like on the video. You know, I think I've changed my mind. This is my new favorite e-bowing location. Where else can we go? Cool enough, I guess. Let's go and look at some stuff. We can just kind of fly around here if we have crystal armor. It's pretty fun, actually. Yeah, this is honestly pretty fun. You just kind of fly around the end. Honestly. You just have to keep going up with the aspect to the end, or else you'll eventually fall. But other than that, it's pretty cool. And since I have crystal armor, my mana actually regenerates fairly quickly. So I can kind of just fly around here forever. Well, that's going to be it for this Skyblock tutorial today. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Skyblock tips and tricks, and also for the normal Bed Wars and Sky Wars that I usually post, although I do plan to post Skyblock more regularly now, as I have a lot more content to give, and we do have something huge in the works right now that has just currently been pretty much finished. We finished the part that was going to be actual work. Now at this point, we just have to wait. And, well, you guys will understand once you see it, but I'll probably be uploading a video on it, but just trust me, it's huge. But anyway, be sure to leave a like. See you guys in the next one. Goodbye.